Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's webinar for our National Scholarship Applicants. My name is Elena Solorio, and I am the Senior Program Manager here at TheDream.Us. And tonight joining me is my colleague Sadhana Singh, who is the Program Manager and Communications Manager also here at TheDream.Us. And we are also joined by three current scholars. We have Daniela with us, Esther, and Maggie. And you'll get to hear from them a little bit later, and they'll be able to share some insight with you on what the program has meant, the scholarship has meant for them, and just some tips from them for the applicants on ways that you can be successful with your application. So go ahead and give you a quick agenda for tonight. So we're just going to give you a brief overview of TheDream.Us. You'll get to hear from Sadhana, who is also a past scholar. She actually just graduated this past May. And then you're going to hear a little bit about the award and the eligibility criteria. At that point, we will take questions based on the award and the criteria. And then we'll go into the application, the timeline, and selection process. And then we'll follow up with some more questions. And then you'll get to hear from our current scholars. And then finally, we'll end it with some tips. All right, and just some quick logistics. So all of our attendees are currently muted, just so that way there's not any background noise. But there are two different ways that you can ask questions as we're moving along, and Sadhana will kind of keep track of those for me. So as you have questions, go ahead and let us know. So you can either click on the hand icon on your control panel to raise your hand, or you can type the questions directly into the question box. All right, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the Dream.Us program. So we are the largest college access and success program for dreamers in the nation. We currently have over 3,000 scholars. I think the number at this point is closer to 3,500, and they're located in 15 states and DC, and we have partnered with over 75 colleges. And we want to provide these scholarships because we're providing them to highly motivated dreamers, also those who are dealing with low income. And for us, the program, it's advocacy for tuition and aid equity for all of the dreamers. And so right now, I'm going to go ahead and get to hear a little bit from Sadhana, who's going to give you some insight, why to apply to the program, as well as just some tips that she learned while she was a scholar. So Sadhana.
Thanks, Elena. Hi, everyone. As Elena mentioned, I am Program and Communications Manager with TheDream.Us, and I'm also a former scholar who has graduated. So I graduated from Trinity Washington University, along with Daniela, who's currently there. So today I'm going to tell you why apply to TheDream.Us. And we have a little bit less than a month, like one day less than a month left before our national round closes. And so you need to know why this is an important thing to do. So reason one, it's more than a scholarship. You're going to get a community that's going to support you and believe in you throughout this entire journey. So you're going to attend a partner college that's committed to dreamers. This college is going to make a safe space for you on campus so that you can realize your potential, not only as just a college student, but as a dreamer in unique circumstances. You're going to get a scholar advisor that's going to support you and guide you. And this is your go-to person on campus where you don't have to be afraid to keep anything back. You can be completely honest about what you're going through, what your struggles are, and of course, share your status. That's not something that's kept a secret from your scholar advisor. Now, on campus, you're going to also have a community of other scholars, other dreamers who are also part of the scholarship and who have been going through the same thing that you're going through. And then larger than that, you're going to be part of our national online community of close to 3,000 scholars. As Elena mentioned, we're a little bit more than that right now. And I can speak to this firsthand. So I actually came from the state of Georgia to DC to attend college. And once I got to campus at Trinity, it was a whole new world for me. I didn't know that I could be in such a supportive, safe environment that would help me to achieve my educational goals. I met some of the most amazing people, other dreamers in my cohort, and I was able to be free and open with my advisor and my professors, and it was an actual supportive, well-enhanced learning environment, and I was really glad to have that experience. So let's move on to reason 2. So we know some facts about college graduates. Typically, college graduates earn 66% more than those with just a high school degree. And college graduates are more than twice as likely to be employed. And by 2020, about 2/3 of job openings will require a degree of higher education. So whatever happens with Daca, whatever is out there on the future horizon, you will be all the better for having a college degree. So moving on to number 3, no one can ever take this degree away from you, and no one can take your educational experience away. So being in college will help if the government does try to do something for those with Daca or TPS. So you are already going to be in a good place if you apply for this scholarship and you eventually become a scholar. Next, you can take this degree with you anywhere in the world. For example, my husband is actually a dreamer as well, and he had graduated in 2016. Recently, he received a job offer from Canada. So now he's able to take his degree and actually work in a whole other country. And he would not have this opportunity if he didn't complete the scholarship program and go to college to get his degree. Next, TheDream.Us absolutely wants to help you get there. So with that, I'll hand it back over to Elena to talk about more of our program.
Thanks so much, Sadhana. All right. So to give you an idea of what the Scholarship Award is, so we have an annual award, and it is based on your cost of tuition, and up to a maximum award for the type of scholarship that you're seeking. So we offer 2 scholarships with the national program. So we have a high school graduate, and we also have a community college graduate. So for those high school graduates, it is a maximum of $29,000 a year, or I'm sorry, in total for seeking a bachelor's degree. Those high school graduates can also start out seeking an associate's degree, and then you would receive half of that. And then once you move on towards your bachelor's, you would receive the other half, the $29,000. For our community college graduates seeking a bachelor's degree, it's a maximum award of $29,000. But we do have several schools located in California, Washington, as well as anyone looking to attend Purdue Global, which is the online university. And those students receive a maximum of $14,500. Your award would not be reduced by any other aid, other scholarships, or grants that you receive unless you were overfunded beyond your total cost of attendance that year. Right? And now getting into the criteria for high school graduates. So with the high school graduate scholarship, that would be for students who have graduated already or those who will graduate from high school by the end of this academic year. Students who graduated with a GPA of 2.5 or better on a 4.0 scale. The key to this one is for those who have previously graduated from high school. You're still eligible as long as you have not or are not currently enrolled in a 4-year institution or bachelor's program, and you've not earned more than 21 credits at a community college. Now, if you have earned credits while being a part of a dual enrollment program while you were in high school, those credits do not count towards the 21 max. So that's only after you've graduated high school, you can have received up to 21 credits at a community college and still be eligible. Plan to enroll full-time in either an associate's or bachelor's degree program at one of our partner colleges, and you would have no later until the spring of 2020 to enroll in one of those partner colleges. You do have to be eligible for in-state tuition at one of our partner colleges that you want to attend. If it's a private college, obviously you don't have to worry about it being in-state tuition. I will say for those who are in Arizona, make sure that you're looking at the application because there is a little bit difference with the legislation that happened this past year. That since you no longer qualify for in-state tuition, just make sure you're reading the application there on the welcome page under the criteria to let you know what you would need to do to attend Arizona State. You also have to have either current Daca or TPS authorization, or if you don't have Daca or TPS, you can certify that you meet the Daca eligibility criteria. And the reason we did this, we started this last year, was with the Daca program ending and they're no longer taking new applicants. We know that there's a lot of students that are currently in high school that were not eligible at the time that the program was rescinded. So as long as you meet every one of the criteria for Daca, you can still certify in the application that you meet those criteria to be eligible. You needed to have arrived in the U.S. before you reached your 16th birthday, as well as have significant unmet financial need. And so now we'll jump over to the Community College Graduate Scholarship. So for this one, you will have to have graduated or you're going to graduate from a community college with a 2-year degree by the end of this academic year. GPA on this is a little different, so you have to have graduated or will graduate this year with a GPA of 3.0 or better on a 4.0 scale. Again, you cannot have been previously enrolled in a 4-year college or university or a 4-year bachelor's degree program. Again, intend to enroll full-time in a bachelor's degree program at one of our partner colleges no later than the spring term of this year, so 2020. Have to be eligible for in-state tuition, same as the high school program. Again, Daca TPS or certify that you meet the Daca immigration eligibility. Arrived to the U.S. before you turned 16 and have significant unmet financial need. All right, so I guess now we will go ahead and take questions if we have any. So Donna, do we have any questions?
Yes, we have one question.
Okay.
I will read it out loud. So the question is, do you have to renew the scholarship every year, or is it for all 4 years if we're wanting to get a bachelor's degree?
Good question. Okay, so yes, there is a renewal period that happens every summer. And the key to that being, we just want to basically check in, make sure that you're still doing well with your classes, that sort of thing. And so it happens every summer. It's usually, the renewal period is open for about a month. We do give you plenty of notice. And the key being, if you do not renew the scholarship, if you have been awarded it, you do have, you are potentially going to lose it by not renewing it. So it is something that, we check in with you. We make sure that you're still doing well, like I said, well in your classes. And it gives you the opportunity to give us any sort of updates. If your DACA has been renewed, you would update, with your new dates, things like that.
Okay, and we have one more question.
Okay.
Regarding the 21 credits spoken about in the high school slide, does that go for community college students? Because I have currently taken all the courses needed to receive my AA.
Okay, so if you have already taken all the classes you need to receive your AA, then you would need to be applying as a community college graduate and not a high school graduate.
Okay. What if you came at 16 years old, but you are still undocumented?
Unfortunately, you have to meet all of the eligibility criteria set forth by USCIS. And so as long as you meet those criteria, you would be eligible. But one of the key pieces is that you did arrive to the US before you turned 16.
Okay, next question. If we don't get the scholarship this year, can we reapply next year?
Absolutely. Just again, you want to double check the eligibility criteria, and as long as you continue to meet the criteria, please apply.
Okay, and the questions keep coming. So, I attended the School of the Art Institute of Chicago for 1 semester, but they only award pass or fail credits. Do I still qualify?
Trying to think. I guess I would need to know whether that is actually a 4-year institution or not. If it's a 4-year institution, then unfortunately you would not be eligible even though it was only 1 semester. If it is a 2-year school, or you were in a 2-year program and you can see that on your transcript, then you would still be eligible.
Okay, next question. Do you have to apply to the partner schools separately as well as applying for the scholarship?
You do. There are a few schools who do require you to apply at the same time, and those are spelled out on the welcome page of the application. But then the others, you have a little bit more time. So you don't necessarily have to do it right now, but you would have to apply to the school as well.
Okay, and I have a couple of raised hands.
Okay.
So I'll take Ambreen Tariq. I'm going to unmute you and you can ask your question out loud. Ambreen, can you hear us? All right, I'll try someone else. How about Griselda? Can you hear us? All right. Okay, I do have more questions coming in the chat box. Would you like me to read some more or do you want to move on, Elena?
We'll take one more and then we'll try to circle back at the end.
Okay. For the bachelor's degree, can you still apply even if you're currently enrolled taking one class?
Unfortunately, like I said, if it is at a 4-year university and you are enrolled in a bachelor's program, unfortunately, you would not be eligible. So, okay, so we are going to go ahead and move on. Like I said, Sedona will kind of keep track of the questions, and after we get through the next section, we'll jump back in and get some more questions answered for everyone. All right, so for those of you who have started the application but maybe not fully looked at it yet, this is kind of how the application is broken down. So we're looking for applicant data. So here's where you're going to give us your demographic information, so name, city, state, zip code. This is where you'll also let us know if you are if you currently have Daca TPS or if you're going to certify that you do meet the Daca criteria. From here, you would move on to the academic information section. And then this is where you're going to give us your high school information if you are applying as a high school graduate. And if you have taken any community college while in high school or after you've graduated high school, you would also list this information here as well. If you are applying as a community college graduate, you would be providing just the bulk of your information would be on your community college that you've been attending. ACT, SAT test scores are optional. If you do have them, please provide them. From here, you're going to move on to the financial information section. And here is where we're able to make the determination of how much need you have. So you're going to provide us with basically the household income for your family, how many are supported by that income, as well as how many people in the family supported by that income will be attending college beginning in the fall. You don't have to provide any backup for this unless we were to request it. So it's not anything that you have to provide as part of the application. And then from here, you're going to move on to the essay section. In my opinion, the essay is the biggest piece of the application and what you want to absolutely spend the most time on. So there are 2 essay questions. The first one is your educational and career goals, and then the second one is overcoming adversity. Both of the questions have a maximum of 750 words, and we strongly suggest that you use either Word or another like word processing program to actually write your essays in. So that way, you're catching spelling mistakes, things like that. And then once you're done with it, you are able to copy and paste it into the application. The other piece that is very key is somebody that you know, whether it be, a school counselor, a teacher, anybody like that who has the ability, knows your situation. Let them read the essay. Let them give you feedback on the essay. The essays are actually scored, which we'll go into it in a little bit, by a independent selection committee. So you want to make sure you are putting your absolute best foot forward when you're writing your essays. This gives the selection committee insight into you and lets them know, really, kind of an idea of, how you're going to perform and succeed in college. So you really want to spend your time working on those essays. The only documents that are required in the application would be your transcript. So whether it's high school and or community college transcripts would be uploaded into the online application. And so, like Sadhana said earlier, we are just under a month before the application closes. So you don't want to wait till the last minute. This gives you the chance that if something were to come up and you need to add more information, you have time to do that. You don't want to stress getting the application, completed at the very last minute where maybe you don't have time for somebody to read over your essay. So really start looking at getting it completed as soon as possible. In late May is when we will notify all of the complete applicants, whether you have been awarded or not. And then mid-May would be the deadline for those selected to let us know if they're going to accept or decline the award. And so here's where we're going to get into the selection criteria and the process for that. So the first part of it is ISTS, which is International Scholarship and Tuition Services, is the company who hosts the online application for us. They will do an initial selection for us. So here's where they're going to take into account grades, test scores, participation in any advanced courses while in high school. They're going to look at the one thing that I didn't mention on the application side of things is we do have a responsibility section, and it's very similar to like a resume. So here's where you have the chance to tell us about community service work you've done, any volunteer activities you've been a part of, if you're working along with going to school. And the other piece is you're going to let us know what your home responsibilities are. We know with a lot of our applicants, you don't have the time to do a lot of the volunteer work and community service work because you're at home, whether it's helping your folks to take care of younger siblings, whether it's helping with homework, getting them to and from school, interpreting for your family, helping to take care of a sick family member. So those pieces are really key. To let us know, what it is that you're doing at home. So all of those are scored by ISTS, and then from there we have a group of finalists. The finalists are who move on to the selection committee to have the essays read. Once we get the scores back from the selection committee, we then start allocating the scholarships to the highest scoring applicants. All right, and like I said, we're going to get into another question and answer time here in just a moment, but go ahead and jot down that email address. So that email address is for ISTS, but it's specific to our program. And so if we didn't get your question answered tonight, or you come up with questions as you're moving through the application, they are there to help you and get those questions answered for you. So that email is TheDream.Us at apply.ists.com. And then our website, where you can find additional information, not only about our program, but we also do have some listings there for other scholarships that are available for not only DACA students, but for those that are undocumented as well that don't qualify for DACA. So definitely check out our website. And then the phone number there that's listed is for ISTS as well. All right, and we'll go ahead and jump into some more questions here.
Okay, so I'm going to try the raised hands one more time. So
Okay.
when I call your name, if you can click the little red mic button and unmute yourself, and then you'll be able to speak to us live on the presentation. So I'm going to try Ambreen again. Ambreen, if you can click the little mic to unmute yourself, and then you can talk. All right, I'm going to try Hannah Doliente. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good evening.
Go ahead.
I would just like to know if the scholarship award would cover room and board as well as tuition.
It does not. It strictly covers tuition and fees.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, and I'm going to call on Kieri Alfaro Rivas. Can you unmute yourself?
Hello?
Nice.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I had recently sent out my DACA renewal. I haven't gotten it yet, but I wanted to know if in order to apply, do I have to wait for it to come back, or can I start applying now?
No, go ahead and start applying now.
Okay, awesome. And then I can add it in later. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you unmuted me. And then I can add it in.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
So you have basically until February 28th. So what I'll go ahead and say is, even if you have your application completed, you've submitted it, it comes back, all the documents that you have uploaded have been accepted, and your application states that it is complete, you can still go in and make changes to it up until the deadline.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
All right, I'm going to try Griselda one more time. Griselda, can you unmute yourself, and then you'll be able to speak? All right, I'm going to try Cesar.
Hello.
Oh, is that Griselda?
Yes.
Hi, go ahead and ask your question.
What if I want to apply for college, but I'm not I don't want to go to college for my associate's degree. I want to go in for a program that is offered at the community college.
So it'd be more like a certificate program?
To be exact, it's a program for dental hygiene. It's not for associates, but after getting that program done for dental assistant, I want to go into my associates for science. Can I still apply for the national scholarship, or is that only for those that are doing the associate's degree?
Yeah, it would only be for those doing the associates. So what you could do right now is, if you get into the assisting program, I would go ahead and do it. And then as you are getting closer to completing that, then look again to see whether the application is open, so that you could apply basically in the next round as you go for your Associate of Science.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
All right, and then I'll read a couple questions from the chat box. One is, I'm still waiting on the admissions decision from one of my partner colleges, and it's almost time to turn it in. What can I do?
If it is one that requires that you apply at the same time, I would reach out to the school and just see if they can give you an update. Since it is the timing of it. One of the things that you can do as well, if you were to go to our website, you would still have the ability to go into our Scholar Hub, and from the Scholar Hub, we do have a directory for our partner colleges, and you would be able to find information in there to try to reach out to somebody at the school, unless you have a specific name with somebody in the admissions department who can assist you with that.
Okay, next question is, what is the difference between the weighted and unweighted GPA, and is that the same as cumulative GPA?
All right, so the cumulative GPA is basically a running total of your GPA over every semester or however your school is set up. So that's just the overall total of your individual GPAs from each term. The difference between weighted and unweighted. A weighted GPA is taking into account typically honors and advanced courses that you may earn a little bit more credit for than those that are just at a straight grading scale. So those that would be graded at a 4.0, whereas if you were taking like advanced chemistry, you may be able to earn up to like a 4.5 in that class. So that's the difference between weighted and unweighted. So we are looking for the unweighted total GPA. And if it's not something that is available to you on your transcript, you should be able to reach out to somebody at your school. They're in the office and they should be able to help you with that.
Okay, next question. For the Daca eligibility criteria, what if you didn't reside in the US since June 2007 or have been in the US since June 2012? Does that mean I'm not eligible?
Unfortunately, it does. And, you know, it may be one of those things that we begin to look at criteria next year. But as of this year, you do have to meet each one of those eligibility criteria points.
Okay, next question. Can I apply if I already graduated with an AA, but I want to now pursue an AS?
If you are not looking to move on to a bachelor's degree and you're trying to go with just an AS, or you have changed paths altogether, you can go ahead and apply. You know, again, it is a scholarship program. It's very competitive. You know, so it's just going to depend on, you know, ultimately whether we're able to award it or not.
All right, and we do have more questions, Elena, so let me know if you want me to continue or we move on.
About how many more questions does it look like we have right now? Because I want to make sure that the girls have time to.
Oh, there's more than 10.
More than 10. All right, let's go with another 5 or so.
Okay. All right, this question is, do dual credit students count as being in college for the financial information?
No, because that's really a program where you're earning extra credit, you know, while you're in high school. So I would not count that as somebody that is enrolled under the financial portion.
All right. And then someone just asking to clarify, what did you mean about Arizona being different about the requirements for in-state tuition?
Gotcha. So with the legislation that happened, DACA students are no longer eligible for in-state tuition in Arizona. So we currently partner with Arizona State University, which if you're looking at the application, it would appear that you have to, you know, qualify for in-state tuition. Arizona State is one of the schools that you do have to apply to concurrently. So you would be working with the school, and ultimately the school would let you know if you qualify for one of these special tuition rates. It's basically 150% of the in-state tuition, even though it's an out-of-state rate. And as long as you qualify for that one, you would be eligible to use the scholarship at ASU. If ASU comes back and says you don't qualify for that, the school options in the other two school options in Arizona are both private universities, Grand Canyon University and Benedictine Mason. So you would not have to worry about qualifying for in-state tuition there. But when you're applying you would still have to mark yes that you qualify for in-state tuition, because there's not a separate piece there specifically for Arizona. But you'll see that in the application where it lets you know what rate it is that you have to qualify for in order to use the scholarship at ASU.
Okay, next question. What if you started college but only finished one semester at a 4-year private university?
Unfortunately, you are ineligible for the scholarship.
All right. Next question. Only my father and I work, so for the financial section, do I combine both our earnings or just put his?
If yours is helping to support, you can feel free to include that with your father's, but your father's is fine.
Okay, next question. I have my SAT score, but I'm not proud of it because I didn't do so well. Do I still put it?
Yes.
Okay. I've uploaded an older transcript, but just received a newer one. How can I submit the newer one?
Okay, so if the transcript that you had previously uploaded has already been accepted by ISTS, you would need to reach out to customer care. So reach out to the email address or give them a phone call because they will actually have to go in and remove your old transcript. You won't have access to do that any longer to be able to upload the new one. If the transcript that is currently there still says pending, where they have not had a chance to review it yet, then you still have the ability to delete it and upload the new one.
Okay, if tuition and fees don't cost $29,000 in total, what would happen with the remaining money?
So from there, if by the time you graduate, if you have not used the full $29,000, the addition, whatever is left over, actually goes back into being able to support and award another scholarship to someone else in future rounds.
Okay, and I guess we should pause there to hear from our student panel.
Yep, so let's go ahead and just real quick, just a couple of quick things. Remember, nobody can take your education away from you. College degree is always going to mean better jobs and better pay. And if awarded, you will be part of a nationwide community of dreamers through our online support system. All right, so what we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to get a chance to hear from Maggie, Esther, and Daniela. And I'm going to go ahead and jump in and ask them the questions that are on the screen, but we'll do it kind of one at a time. And so, Daniela, let's go ahead and start with you. Go ahead and give some tips or things that you learned or helped you when you were applying for the scholarship.
First of all, hi everyone. It's nice to get to hear some of your voices. Some of the things that I learned while applying to scholarships was to definitely get my essays edited by somebody else, by English teacher, or a counselor. That helped me so much, not just for applying for scholarships, but also to just schools in general. Because I did apply to more than just Trinity. I go to Trinity Washington University. And so, yeah, that helps me for every application. And I do it now. Now that I have to apply to internships, everything, I still get everything edited.
All right. And Esther, is there anything you would add to that?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. This is Esther. I'm a junior at Rutgers, Newark right now. And I think there's something special about the TheDream.Us scholarship because over the past 5 semesters, I've applied to 30 plus scholarships. But why TheDream.Us is very unique is because it's particularly geared towards undocumented students and Daca and TPS students. So when you're applying to this particular scholarship, you have to shape your essay, not like the other 30 scholarships that I had to apply to, because everyone has the same situation, which is their legal status. Other scholarships, I would say my problem is that I'm undocumented, I'm limited to all these financial resources, federal and state. But I think what helped me apply and get the scholarship was not really saying that the unique thing about me is my undocumented status, rather something about you that something about the undocumented status that shaped who you are and your future career aspirations. So I looked back at my Dream.Us scholarship essays from 2-3 years ago, and I wrote about how my parents' missionary story really influenced my views on what American means and what belonging really means, and also talked about how my undocumented status shaped my desires to give back to the community, be a public servant. So I think that gives a little more unique perspective and angle to your essay, because the nature of the scholarship is, right, everyone is DACA, everyone is undocumented. So that would be the advice I'd give.
Great. Maggie, anything you would add?
Hello?
We can hear you.
Hi, sorry, I don't have any video of me behind this voice, but I go to George Mason University. I am a senior right now, and I will be graduating very soon. So something that I learned while I was applying for the scholarship is that I couldn't agree more with Esther was saying, but also like make sure that you really have to take your time when you're applying for the scholarship, because I did a lot of soul searching while you're doing this like applying for this scholarship. Like, what does it mean when I get this college education? What is it really going to do to me, and how is this going to impact not just me but my family and everyone else around me? So those are the questions that I was asking myself, and I really was trying to put my real true self out there on the essay. So definitely give yourself a lot of time when you're applying. Give yourself some time, and don't procrastinate, and don't put it on the last minute. Also, don't be shy, because you are going to need a letter of recommendation. So I was surprised that when you're not shy, a lot of people actually can say yes, and they're going to go ahead and write your letter of recommendation. So don't be afraid to reach out. So yeah.
All right, thanks. All right, Esther, I think we'll start with you on this one. So what's your best advice that you would give current applicants for getting it completed?
So I've been thinking about that. What advice would I give my high school senior self before I applied to the scholarship? And I think, like any scholarships, right? Like Maggie was saying, really do it early and in advance, and also ask for feedback, both from folks who understand what undocumented means and also folks that don't understand, so you get all these different perspectives on your application. But also not to start early, especially when obtaining your recommendation letters. You should give them 3 weeks notice in advance. And even if it might seem bothersome, you have to remind them a couple of times, and give them a few weeks before the recommendation comes through. And also just a technical thing for me, I found about the Dream.Us scholarship a week before it was due, and I already applied to all the colleges that were on my list, and none of them were partner schools. So after I got Dream.Us, I had to apply to a partner school, which was Rutgers, which was very last minute. I had to beg on my knees for them to accept me. But keeping that in mind, because you're doing 2 applications at the same time, college and this program. So you just have to be very good at scheduling and getting everything done on time.
Good advice. Maggie, how about you?
So I would say that the technical side of it, like I wouldn't say that I'm the best writer. So when you're completing this application with your essay, reach out for help. Go to the writing center. I mean, I was at Northern Virginia Community College while I was applying for this scholarship. So they had a career center. So you usually you have to look out for resources that can help you to write a great essay. And yeah, and also just what Esther has said. I mean, you have to give yourself more time.
All right, Daniela, anything you would add?
Yeah, so since a lot of us have touched on the essay part, I'll touch on like the resume part. So an important lesson that my counselor told me in high school was that to not be humble. I know it sounds weird because as to from a Hispanic, because I'm from a Hispanic family, and we're Christians, so they always say, "Oh, you gotta be humble. You know, you gotta be nice to people." And yes, of course, you have to be nice to people. You have to be humble. But when you're applying to these programs that are so competitive, you have to put everything like on there. Any volunteer work, any club, even if it's like chess club, even if it's like it seems irrelevant, like put it on there. It shows that you're active in your community. And anything. And if you're not a senior right now, if you're a junior and watching this, definitely get involved in your community. That's a great way to show that when you get to college, you're going to learn all these things. You're going to gain knowledge. You're going to earn a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree, and then you're going to take what you learned and put it back into your community. So it's not like, for selfish reasons. It's to, better the lives of everyone else. Mm-hmm.
Great. All right. And then Maggie, I think we'll start with you on this one. What has the scholarship meant to you, and how has it impacted your life so far?
It's, to be honest with you, it's everything. I feel empowered more than ever before, and I was able to meet a lot of great scholars that are like me and make friends, and be part of this community where we can help one another and just also share, just help, just share any important information that one can benefit. So I built a lot of good friendships. I'm about to graduate. I see so many opportunities, coming at me because of thanks to this scholarship that I was able to go to this university. And yeah, I feel fantastic. I feel like I can do more. I'm ready to go into the real world and put in what I learned and ready to give back.
Great. We're looking forward to seeing that happen for you, Maggie.
Thank you.
All right, Daniela, how about you? What has the scholarship meant to you, and how has it impacted you?
It's been awesome. Like you mentioned before, like Sedana mentioned before, this program isn't just a scholarship. It's not just giving you money. It's a community. And a lot of times there are awesome opportunities for us because they reach out to the scholarship and then they reach out to us. And it's pretty awesome. And I've also made great friends through this scholarship. And I got involved at my campus. I'm president of the Dreamers Alliance, which Sedana was the president of the Dreamers Alliance when she was at Trinity. And I met Sedana there, and it's awesome. Like, you build a circle of people who understand where you're coming from, and they understand all the difficulties that your family has as well. So it's pretty cool. And I've met so many people from everywhere. I'm from Maryland, and I've been in this area my whole life, but I've met people from Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Mississippi, Indiana, from everywhere. And it's pretty cool to see how everyone's lives was different back home. So yeah, it's awesome. That's all I'm gonna say. It's awesome.
All right. And Esther, what about you? What's the scholarship meant to you?
No words can describe. But I think what's really unique about this scholarship is the partner schools. There's a reason that the scholarship partners with particular partner schools. And for me, that was Rutgers Newark. And it means that these partner schools, by no means they're perfect, but they are immigrant inclusive, and it's a perfect platform in which you can make change on a local, campus, and state level. So when you go on that partner campus, you have a cohort of Dream.Us scholars, And like Maggie and Danielle mentioned, that's a great cohort of friends, of peers, and of allies, but they're not just friends, but they're your activist buddies. So you can use that platform and that cohort to make an opportunity to make change and impact, especially on a campus level. So through that Dream.Us cohort when I was a freshman, I made friends with them. We talked, we had these deep conversations, and we made a student organization on campus for Rutgers called Are You Dreamers? And through that, the past 2 years, we've hosted statewide rallies. We've advocated for the state financial aid bill, which was passed in May. And now we're advocating together for the driver's license in New Jersey. So it's been great just because of the scholars that are involved in the partner school in which you're placed. And then the other thing is the Dream.Us champion and advisor on campus. I mean, like Sedona mentioned in the beginning, that's a person, a staff on campus you can really go to and have that sort of mentorship over the 4 or 2 years of college. And she actually like writes all my recommendation letters. And she wrote one for my Truman nomination, if anyone knows what that is. And yesterday I was nominated for the Truman Scholarship by Rutgers, which is, and from her help, honestly, like because of her rec letter, her advice, and I've been given first Daca recipient to be nominated for the Truman Scholarship, which I'm working on right now. But like all these resources are not just to get your career or get through college, but really make change where you are in that environment.
Those are all really great answers, and congratulations, Esther. So we definitely want to hear once you've received it.
I'll keep you guys updated.
Awesome. All right, well, I know that we are just about out of time. About how many more questions do we have, Sedona, does it look like?
We can probably do, we have about 3 or 4 more. I've also been replying to some of them, those that I can't, so that we make sure to get them answered.
Okay, let's go ahead and jump into those and then we will close this out.
Okay, so first one is, I'm attending a vocational technical high school in which I take my senior year at a college. How would that affect my eligibility?
It wouldn't, since you are still doing it through your high school, it would not affect it.
Okay, will it affect my application if I submitted it, but I'm still waiting on acceptance from the partner school?
No, again, just make sure that you are reaching out if it is one of the schools that requires it to be done at the same time as the application, just so that way you know that they're working on it on their end. For those that do require it at the same time, once the scholarship application period is closed, they will let us know. There's basically a double check to see who has, gone through the process of applying. So it may even be one of those things that, they don't even have it completed on their end, but as long as they see that you have applied, then you're meeting the criteria for the scholarship. Like I said, just kind of, check in with them, see if they have any updates for you, but don't stress it.
Okay, I still don't know exactly which college or university I'll be attending, and if I pick one, can I change this choice later?
Yes, as long as it is still one of the colleges or universities listed there in your state, you have the ability to make those changes, unless it is one that required the pre-application, to be, you apply to them at the same time as applying to the scholarship.
Okay, how many people are awarded the scholarship? Is it just one person?
No. So this year we're hoping to be able to award somewhere around the neighborhood of about 800 scholarships. And last year we actually awarded a little over 1,000. So it's not just one person, fighting for this scholarship. There will be quite a few awarded. So.
And I'll add to that, even though about 1,000 are awarded, we do get thousands more in applications. So it's actually very competitive, and we want you to put your best forward to get this scholarship. One more question. What are the options for if you're undocumented but you don't have DACA?
Definitely take a look at our website. There are some other resources there for scholarships that are available to students who are undocumented who do not meet the DACA eligibility.
Okay, and I'll take one more question before we close out because we don't want to keep you all too late. Let me see. Is the aid awarded for one school year or for the span of the student's time to complete a bachelor's degree?
Gotcha. So if you're awarded the scholarship, there is a maximum award that you can receive a year. And that's only so that way you have funds to be able to, get you through, either your 2 years, your remaining 2 years for a bachelor's or your 4 years for a bachelor's. So the scholarship is renewable each year. And so, you have the $29,000. If you're coming in, again, it's you technically have 5 years to complete a bachelor's degree if you're coming in as a high school graduate. If you're coming in as a community college graduate, you can have up to 3 years for that, provided you still have funds remaining in your scholarship account.
Okay, and this will be our last question, everyone. Thank you so much for participating and for sending everything in. We're so sorry that we can't really get to all of them, but I've been typing some replies to you as we've been going on to make sure you get your question answered. But this is the last one we'll take. So Elena, do you get the scholarship directly or does it go straight to the school you select?
It does go straight to the school. So our scholarship works a little different in the fact that the scholarship is not received at the beginning of the term. Each of the schools actually provide a list back to us of who's enrolled that term, how many credits you're taking, what your tuition and fees costs are for the semester or quarter. And that is how we know how to base your scholarship award for that term. So it's not that everybody across the board gets one set dollar amount. It is based on your overall cost of attendance and what your tuition and fees cost is for the term. So the school reports back to us, and then the funds are then sent to the school once the award has been determined for that term. So it does, a lot of times, it's usually weeks into the term before the funds are received. So just, if you do end up receiving the award, just know that it will not be in your student account prior to you beginning your terms. All right, and what we'll try to do as well is that weren't answered, and we will actually send out a copy of the recording to everyone. And we'll try to get some of those questions answered. But again, definitely if your question wasn't answered, reach out to ISTS with your questions. Again, that email address was TheDream.Us at applyISTS.com, and they can definitely get your questions answered for you. All right, and so just some quick reminders, just tips on getting everything completed. Make sure you're answering all parts of the essays. Do not exceed that 750 word count maximum. If you were to go over it, it ultimately will cut your essay off and we will not see the full essay. So it'll cut it off right at 750 words. Make sure you are getting it edited. And then, definitely have somebody else read over it and provide edits back to you before you submit it. And then for documents, make sure that you are getting a copy of your transcript uploaded and that it is being accepted. There are times that transcripts do get rejected because specific information is missing from it. So you do have the ability to check the status of your document. So if you're looking at your homepage, your ISTS homepage, where it lists the application that you have started, If you click on the button that says started, it will actually pop up another kind of dialog box, and you can see the status of your transcript. So you want to make sure that it shows that it has been accepted. If it still shows that it's processing, they just haven't had a chance to review it yet. So it is your responsibility to keep track of that. Reach out to ISTS customer care if you've got any technical problems that you're facing, and then make sure you've got everything done in advance of the deadline. So if something were to happen and your transcript were to be rejected, you want to make sure that you've got time to get those corrections made before the deadline. So once again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Don't forget, we are just under a month away from the deadline. So the deadline is February 28th, and the application will automatically shut you off at 11:59 p.m. So again, thank you so much from all of us, and y'all have a great night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.